Hello everybody, Sam and Chad here, back again with another Game Maker tutorial. In this episode, we're going to make our enemies explode. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is make a sprite for our explosion. So let's just make a new sprite. I'm going to call this SPR underscore explosion. We're going to load a sprite. And this is going to be our explosion. But what's this? We have a ton of sprites in here that string together to make a whole animation. Now, when you have multiple images that you need to make one sprite for the animation, you can go to the first. One, hold Shift, and then go to the last frame. And when you press Open, it will open them in sequence. Then you can see these new arrows that are popping up. This is each frame of the glorious explosion that we have right here. One frame will show every step, and if we actually press Edit Sprite, we can watch this preview right here. So this is how it's going to look in our game. Pretty cool looking. Alright, let's press OK. Now that we have our explosion, we need an object for it. So now we're going to create an object, obj underscore explosion. Now, we don't really need this to do anything because it doesn't have any impact on the game. However, we do need it to destroy itself once it's done playing. So we're going to set its sprite to the explosion. We're going to add event in the other category where we can actually do once the animation ends, we can go in here and we can have it destroy itself. So let's press OK. So what would be the most obvious route would be to make it so once the enemy collides with your bullet, it spawns the explosion and maybe deletes itself. However, there is an easier option where you can go in the object enemy, add event collision with your bullet. Instead of creating the explosion at the position and deleting it after, since this object is no longer needed, we can actually make it turn into the explosion. Now, this accomplishes the same thing as deleting itself after it makes an explosion, but it's a little bit easier. So now when we play, once the enemy collides with our bullet, it's going to explode. It's going to turn itself into an explosion, and the explosion deletes itself. Now, there's something that's a little bit peculiar here, is that the explosion isn't showing where the enemy is. Well, that's just because the explosion's pretty big, and its origin is way up here. We want to set the origin sprite center to the middle. So now if we try to play this one more time, and now we shoot, we have this glorious looking explosion that's just so incredible to watch. So right now we have a pretty fully functioning game. We have our enemies that are shooting you. There's a bit of a challenge with trying not to be hit by the bullets while trying to shoot as many of these enemies as possible. Everything works pretty good. As far as our game is right now, it's pretty much finished. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to take you guys through before we officially declare this game done. There are some little tweaks that need to be made and fixes like, oh, this enemy is spawning. You can see it spawn. It's not like it's coming in from the top of the screen. And once these enemies and bullets go off the screen, they aren't getting destroyed. They're just going on forever, which can cause lag later in the game. But we don't have to worry about that right now. Anyway, that does it for this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or problems, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. We'd love to help out. In the next episode, we're going to make sure that these enemies don't just appear out of thin air, and we're going to make sure that these objects get destroyed once they're out of the room. Thanks for watching.